Welcome back, guys, to another DrewTube episode. Thank you guys for coming on in. Thanks for checking with me. Um, this one is going to be a little bit different of a video. We're not going to be talking about disc golf at all. This is for you guys. I was talking to two of my friends last night on the old Discord about some gaming. Recently, I have been getting into playing Fortnite, which I never would have thought I'd say, with some coworkers of mine. And it's been an absolute blast. It's been a lot of fun. Um, and there's a couple things I want to go over with it because, at least for my friend group, I think this is genuinely an option for us. This could be a lot of fun, and I never would have thought about it. For a long time, we were diehard PUBG players. We played other battle royales. We've gone into doing different things like extraction shooters, things like Hunt Showdown, so on and so forth. But there's a couple points that have really changed my mind on Fortnite. And after talking to a couple of them last night, I was like, let me just rip a quick video for you guys. Again, gives me a little bit more opportunity to talk just in general, and then to also practice my editing. So hopefully this goes well. Hopefully the quality is going good. I wrote down some notes that I want to talk through. So again, about Fortnite. I want to start off with at the top with weapons, and there's a couple things here. Each chapter and season in Fortnite, they add a bunch of new weapons, and that sometimes they're different variants of different guns that have already existed in the game. Sometimes they're just absolutely different guns that have never existed in the game, and there's sometimes just fine tuning or just reworks of some guns. Anyways, um, that is something that I think is genuinely a lot of fun because I'm sure it's been so long at this point since we played PUBG. I'm sure if we dropped in, there'd be a lot of new guns. And that's cool. That is awesome. But at least the gameplay loop that we were playing with for so long felt pretty much. I liked two or three guns. There was maybe 8 guns total, and it was me just searching for those 2 or 3 guns. Hopefully finding them before I got sniped in the head and just died. And that was it. But at least in Fortnite, as I said, like I am very new to this, so the guns that I'm currently playing with in Chapter 7, maybe it's Season 7, Chapter 7, I don't know, it doesn't really matter for this, but there's some guns, and I was like, "Oh, I really don't like this one." There's something called, like, the arc gun, which is a giant laser lightning thing, and I was like, "Holy crap, I don't see the outplay potential in that." Unless you're just sniping them from super far before they ever get close. But then one of my coworkers was like, "Don't worry about it. It's going to be here for maybe X amount of time, and then it was probably going to be gone. And then there's going to be some other overpowered gun that we're not going to like, or we're going to love when we use it. We're going to hate when other people use it. But that's always going to be changing out, and I think that's cool. So weapons, things are. It's not as stagnant as other games. There are clearly guns that they're going to replicate over and over and over. There's always going to be some type of AR or some type of sniper, or some type of shotgun, but it's fun. I like that. I think that's a cool aspect of it. And then one further note on that is, unlike in some other games where I guess in PUBG you're getting a lot of weapon mods that you can upgrade your weapon with. Upgrade being key if you like certain things or don't like other ones. But in Fortnite they use a rarity system, which starts off with like a gray and goes all the way to like super legendary, whatever the hell it is. And that's kind of cool because, again, even if you are full kit after the first 2 or 3 places you kind of go to, or maybe the first couple teams you knock out, there's still a rarity system to be like, okay, cool, I have this gun. I really like this gun. This is the gun I wanted to be using, but mine's only green. And now I found it in blue, or then I found it in purple. Like, there's still a sense of why am I continuing to look for different things? Why, instead of just like, why am I not just hiding in a bush waiting for it at the end? I like that. I think it's good. And the different rarity, I think this gets a little bit stronger variant. So that's cool. Also, back in the day when Fortnite was first coming out, and I was really, hearing about a lot of it's all the building, and I don't want anything to do with the building in Fortnite. That's not what I want to play games for. I think there's a huge level of just how good you can be with that, and that's awesome. And if that's your thing, perfect. But they have no build now, and that's the only way I play with my coworkers, and I think that's the only way we would play, and it's a lot of fun. I think it just goes back to being just a basic battle royale. That's cool. Pace of the game. I did some number crunching, at least on Google and stuff, and it seems that like most of the matches are about the same length as PUBG, but I don't know. They felt quicker, maybe, and that's even with we've gotten some victory royale, so we've made it all the way to first place. It's not like we're just getting knocked out and the games feel quick. Um, So it does feel similar to PUBG, but it feels a little bit quicker, and I like that. And there's enough movement and utility items in the game that is adding some level, and that's not even to mention the cars and stuff you can be driving to get around the map. Um, that adds such a wide variety. Like there's a wingsuit, and you can just launch up into the air and fly away. That's really cool. And there's launch pads you can jump and redeploy to different areas. There's the rift, so they can just completely transport you to somewhere else. There's enough different things to get you around the map to make it feel interesting and quick and vastly different each time. And that's cool. Price. It's free. And as a friend of ours once said, if it's free, it's me. Enough said. It doesn't take itself too seriously. And unlike something where, PUBG, I would definitely not argue takes itself seriously, but definitely takes itself more seriously than something like Fortnite, where I have the Michael Scott skin because obviously I'm the boss here and I'm playing with my coworkers, and I thought that was hilarious. But like, I'm getting dropped by Goku and Baby Yoda and all these things. Finn the human is, flossing in front of me after he gets me down. Like, it is a game that does not take itself seriously. And sometimes that is exactly what we need because that keeps the salt levels down, at least partially. But that's always cool. There is a 5-person game mode that is out currently, but it will not be out for super long. It's still, I guess, in its trial system, which is so obviously I think it's actually dropping or going down in a few days now, which stinks. But eventually it will probably come out to some iteration, and that'll be really cool. Because if we did have 5 of us on, we could play that. And there's not a lot of games currently that allow us to do that. So something to take into account. Not all 5 of us are on all the time, but it's cool. And one of the last points that I really just think I didn't really get to talk about when I was on Discord the other day was Fortnite has a very extensive revive system, more so than I thought. When you go down and you get completely eliminated, you drop a card, and one of your allies is able to go over, quickly grab that, go over to a revive point, and you hold it down for like 10 seconds or something, and you get to revive back in the game with a basic weapon. You get like a gray pistol or something like that, which late game is not going to do very much for you, but at least it's not dropping you in with nothing. And unlike some other games that we've played, where if I get taken out of the game rather early, there's a good possibility, unless we just lose the fight, and if that's the case, well, then we're all just running a new game. I don't just have to spectate you guys for the next 20 minutes. And I like that. I think that's a very cool system. But then it's also like, hey, maybe I went down outside of the storm and you guys can't get my revive card. As long as you have enough gold bars and you can get to one of those revive points, you can just spend gold to revive me. And there was 1 or 2 games where we were reviving each other like 3 or 4 times. And it kept you invested in the game, and it kept me invested in watching my friends play, even if I was dead. I thought that was really cool. But yeah, anyways, so weapons, the fact that they're changing those out constantly is pretty cool. There's a weapon rarity, which is adding a lot to the game of just, you're not just getting your basic loadout and just running that every time. There's always the possibility of getting something slightly better, and that's cool. No build, so we don't have to worry about having to play games with building. Don't have to worry about that. Pace of the game, relatively similar to the other games we played, but it feels a little bit quicker, at least in my opinion, which is cool. Price, free. It's free. Doesn't take itself too seriously. We don't take ourselves too seriously, so I think that's perfect for us. 5-person game mode sometime in the future, be awesome. And the revive system is cool. And I'm sure there's a lot of other points to it, but one of the things I will say is I was very impressed with how much fun I was having. And a large portion of that is playing with really good people, that I enjoy playing with. And I also enjoy playing with you guys. So I think this is something that we could definitely look into. And this is my video. So thank you guys again for stopping in. I hope this was great. I will do a very light edit of this because I don't really care. This is really only going to you guys. If other people see it, awesome. Hi, welcome to the channel. And if no one else sees this, that's perfectly fine. So enjoy. Thank you guys. And I will talk to you soon. Bye.